Okay, everybody, welcome uh, back, and thank you for joining us on our regular Monday church services. This week we're starting a half an hour early, and you'll notice that the living room was a little thin. You're not going to hear as many voices this week. Joining us here, we have Steve, we have Paul, and we have Hannah, and my wife Liz. Jacob had an all-day band rehearsal, so he's been gone since 1 this afternoon. As we said before, Richard and Grace are out of the state camping with their grandparents. So here today, I decided to start us a half an hour early because tonight I have to go and speak at my brother-in-law's funeral. That's at 6 o'clock tonight. Prayers for my sister Donna and for the rest of the family. His name was Dale Akins, and he was my brother-in-law. He was a good man, died suddenly and young. We will go ahead. Before I get started with a song, I'm using Restream to broadcast on everything I broadcast on, whether you're watching us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. It all comes through this one website here, Restream. Welcome to my living room, Scriptural Salvation Baptist. There's a dog. Salvation Baptist Tabernacle. My name is Andrew Konopka, and we are going to get to our first song, which is by Robin Mark, Work a Miracle in My Heart. Well, for those of you out there, you through the camera, you can't see the eyes of my dog right now, but she looks really, really, yeah, that look right there.
Baby.
Yeah, she looks really pathetic. Yeah.
What, you mean sad?
All that too. So, we will go ahead and, yeah, there you go, Hannah. Yeah. She's used to everybody being here, and Richard playing with her, and
Yes,
Jacob, so she misses everybody. She was a little left out. So we will go ahead. This is a short lesson this week. It's kind of a shorter chapter, but that doesn't mean that the stuff in it isn't important. It will continue on where we were before. We just had the 7 bowl judgments on humanity, and they were big, and they were bad, and they were really, really rough. And we will now continue on.
With our book of Revelation.
Yes, with the book. Very good, Paul. Thank you. Okay. This is our 16th lesson on the book of Revelation. Scriptural Salvation Baptist Tabernacle. And this is my living room. Okay. And we, with our shortened cast of readers,
Psalm 100.
we are going to read through Psalm 100. And it is a short psalm, but is important nonetheless. And
Okay.
Paul,
Make a joyful noise to the Lord. All the earth serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his
presence,
presence with singing.
Yeah.
Was I very good?
Yes.
Know that the Lord, He is God. It is He who made us, and we are His. We are His people and the sheep of His pasture.
Pasture. That's good. Was that the first time you've seen that word? Do you know what a pasture is? It's a place where you put all the sheep out to eat. It's like a big field.
I got another one.
Yes, you do.
Enter His gates with thanksgiving and His courts with praise. Give thanks to Him. Bless His name.
For the Lord is good, his steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. That's it for Psalm 100. It's just a short little psalm to remind us to be thankful to God. He watches over us like you would over your sheep, and his love endures forever.
Oh, a ball.
Babylon.
Yeah. Did it fall over?
Oh yeah, a wall falling over.
That's what. I didn't realize that font would be so tough to see, but that says Revelation 17, chapter 17, verses 1 through 5. So if I click here,
He still looks pathetic.
Daddy, you're one.
yeah, hold on, Paul. So, just to remind you what we're reading through, 17, verses 1 through 5.
Share.
Yeah.
And now it's time for our favorite reader.
Revelation 17. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers on earth have become drunk. And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations.
Okay. Seems like a strange place to start, but okay. So in chapter 14, that was one of our side chapters that, as it was going on with the story of all the judgments of the tribulation, the book of Revelation kind of stopped and went back and told you about things that had happened at the beginning of the tribulation. And one of the things that had happened at the beginning of the tribulation was Babylon the Great, a religion that was full of idol worship and false gods, and the Bible called this religion a prostitute. Hey, no biting, doggy. Oh, she wants you to pet her. Stop. That's what. Pet her belly. All right. Now here it's talking back about this false religion again, and it says that this prostitute, this false religion, was seated on many waters. And what that means is, just like pirates in the old days used to say that you would sail the 7 seas, meaning the entire world, when it says that this prostitute was on many waters, it means that the religion is everywhere. What, honey?
Is that thunder?
No, that's somebody outside in a car. So next it says that the dwellers on earth became drunk And what that means is that a majority of the population on the earth was completely drunk and following this false religion. They had become led astray by the things that it offered. They liked it, and they were going along with the idols that were in it. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names. It had 7 heads and 10 horns.
That's like the chapter in Daniel.
Yes, it's like the chapter again. The 7-headed, 10-horned beast is the Antichrist's government. Now, in the past, we always had that picture of the Decasaurus that had the 10 horns and it looked like a dinosaur.
Yeah, from Jurassic Park.
Kind of. But I found one that had 7 heads and 10 horns, and I thought that this was the best representation of what the beast would look like. So, you ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Like that. What? You don't think that the
That's Legos.
Oh! Well, I thought it was the best picture of it. See, it's got 7 heads. It's got 10 horns. It's got the 10 crowns. I counted on it.
That looks like fingers.
Yeah, that's like
Well,
Lego.
Well, they're Lego horns.
Yeah, Legos.
Legos don't have fingers.
Silly.
Okay.
Whoa, Lego girl.
Yes. So in the past, we've had trouble finding an accurate picture for what the Antichrist government looks like, and I thought that worked.
Yep.
Now, back to the chapter, it says that the prostitute is sitting on the beast. And what a lot of Bible scholars interpret this as is that this Babylon religion has control over the Antichrist's government. And this has happened a lot of times in history where a religion is completely in control of the government. And that's not the way God intended. He intended them to be equals. If you look at how ancient Israel worked, the government and God's law were equal with each other. But here we have this mystery Babylon religion having control over the Antichrist's government that in turn has control over the world. Oops.
It's like flipping a
there
page in a
we go.
book.
Yeah, kind of.
Flipping page of my book.
So it says that the religion is arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls. This Babylon mystery religion will be decadent and flashy. It will take all the things that Christianity is not supposed to be. It's supposed to be simple, and it's supposed to be about your relationship with God and Jesus. And this Babylon religion will be big and flashy and rich and powerful, and it'll be all these things that people love. They love wealth and they love displaying it, and that's what this Babylon religion will be. This idol worship is flashy and full of wealth. It's rich, and people tend to be drawn to that. The cup full of abominations and the impurities of her sexual immorality shows us that God detests idol worship, and this religion is full of it. When it comes to our God, God Almighty, He does not forgive people that hold idols in their lives and worship other gods. And this religion, Babylon, idol worship, is full of it. It's flashy, and there's all kinds of gods. And now the sign that's on this prostitute's head says a name of mystery. Now we've talked about mysteries before, and anytime the Bible talks about a mystery, it means that there's secret knowledge. and the only way that you get the knowledge is by joining this religion and going through its rites and passages. So that's what this idol worshiping religion will be, is in order to get the knowledge that they claim that they have, you'll have to join the club. Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. So here we have a piece of history. Babylon, the city of Babylon, that was featured so prominently in what book?
Daniel.
Yep, featured very prominently in the book of Daniel. The Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar, and then when the Persians came through, they kept Babylon as a powerful city. Babylon, the city itself, is where idol-worshipping, flashy, decadent, wealthy mystery religions started. The person that I studied under in college talked about a book where it outlines where all these religions came from, and it goes right back to a story in the book of Genesis and how the people there, it was right after the flood, and they were, because everybody was so evil and they were trying to piece everything back and make it God's way, and it was the person that ruled the city of Babylon started right back up worshiping idols. So here we see that when it comes to things that go against God, the city of Babylon seems to be at the forefront. Now, as I talked about in the book of Revelation, it isn't chronological. So this religion that I just described to you with idol worship, where it's flashy, it's decadent, it's big, and it's gold, and it's purple, and it's jewelry, this religion starts to take hold at the beginning of the tribulation. And it's no coincidence that this big flashy religion starts to take hold at the beginning of the tribulation, because at that point there are no Christians here to be preaching God's message. So this replacement religion comes in, and it claims to have all the answers for the people that are gone and actually have the answers.
Oh, curtains of a movie theater.
Yes.
Curtains.
Yeah. Oh,
More like a play.
well, curtains from a stage, right?
Yeah, curtains from a stage.
Yeah.
It's like in the movie theater.
And okay. So next, Revelation chapter 17, verses 6 through 8.
You thought you learned from your mistakes.
Okay. 17, 6 through 8.
You thought you learned from your mistakes.
Okay. Did I share that? Yes, I did.
Oh gosh, dog.
And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I marveled greatly. But the angel said to me, "Why do you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that carries her. The beast that you saw was, and is not, and is about to rise from the bottomless pit and go to destruction. And the dwellers on earth whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will marvel to see the beast, because it was, and is not, and is to come."
Okay. All right. Okay. So, John, obviously, what he's seeing is a representation of the stuff that will be happening on Earth. But he sees this prostitute sitting on the beast, and it's a representation of Babylon, the religion, and he sees that this religion will be drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And what that tells us is that in this mystery Babylon religion that will take over during the tribulation, there will be no religious tolerance, and worshiping God can get you killed. During this time, the 144,000 Jewish witnesses will be out there telling people about God Almighty. In the temple that will be rebuilt at that time, you'll have the two super witnesses that will be calling down fire from heaven and performing miracles, and they will get people to worship God. But this Babylon, the mystery religion, will be there, and it will be powerful, and following anything other than this religion can get you killed. If you can get drunk with the blood of the saints, that means that you're killing a lot of them, and that you enjoy it. John then says, I saw the woman drunk, and I was marveling at it. But John should have understood this imagery. He's seen similar images of it already. He's seen images of the Antichrist's beast. He's seen images of the Babylonian mystery religion. He knows what these represent. So it shouldn't have made him marvel. He should have kind of pieced together where this was all going. Was and is not and is about to rise. So it's talking about the seven-headed, ten-horned beast that is conveniently made out of Legos. And it's either talking about the Roman Empire that at one point was, then ceased to exist, and then rose again to form the Antichrist government, or it's talking directly about the Antichrist, who took power, and then he died, and then he came back from the dead. So it doesn't matter either way. Whichever way you interpret it, it still fits. It's either the government or it's the personage himself. So if the Antichrist, he did rule, he died, and he came back again, whose names have not been written in the book of life. So it says that anybody whose name has not been written in the book of life follows after the mystery religion and the beast. And that should be simple for us to identify. It's anybody who is not going to be saved. So at the beginning, Jesus wrote a book with everybody's name who's going to follow him into heaven. If your name was not found in this book, you enjoy this mystery Babylon religion. So if the beast is Rome, it's all done because it has centralized power. The Roman Empire, ruled over most of the known world at the time because it had centralized power and it knew how to exercise it. But if it's talking about the Antichrist, he's able to do this because he has charisma. People hear him talk and they listen and they do what he wants.
Oh, the wind.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It blew away.
Yeah.
Bye.
Or it's like a paper flying away from the wind taking the paper and making it fly.
Like a piece of paper, right?
Yep, piece of paper.
Pizza
No.
paper?
No, not pizza paper. Next, we will listen to
Piece of paper.
piece of paper. Revelation 17, verses 9 through 14.
Yeah, Daddy, learn from your mistakes.
Okay. Put this here so you know what scripture we'll be listening to. I will share this.
Give me that.
14. Hey. Okay.
There you go.
You ready?
This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. There are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. 1 is, the other has not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while. As for the beast that was and is not, it is an 8th, but it belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction. And the 10 horns that you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. These are of one mind, and hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful.
Okay. The first time I read through that, I was a little confused. Didn't make much sense to me, but I've since made some sense of it. Now here, it's telling us what it's talking about. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. So it gives us that verse, but then the next verse right after that, it says that there are 7 kings. Now I know it talks a lot about there being 10 horns, and that is where the Antichrist, the 10 kings that rebuild the Roman Empire. But also in the book of Daniel, we had his vision where the Antichrist, to get his power, killed 3 kings, and that helped him to take over, leaving 7 kings other than himself. This religion controls those 7 kings. As for the beast that was and is not, it is an 8th, but it belongs to the 7, and it goes to destruction. The Antichrist is tied to these other kings. He gets his power and controls the whole world through all these other kings. 10 kings who have not yet received royal power is very similar to the 10 toes from Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Oh, in Daniel chapter 2.
Yes. And these 10 toes that reform the Roman Empire they're not, they're toes mixed with iron and clay, so they're not cohesive, but they're powerful. The Antichrist completes his world domination through these kings.
An airplane!
Yeah, it kind of flew away.
That's like an airplane.
These are of one mind, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. Charismatic characters convince others to hand over power. If you look at history, there have been many charismatic leaders before that get their power through their speech. They're able to talk people into giving them the power that they crave. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them. So as we learned before, this will happen at Tel Megiddo, or Harmageddon, or as everybody knows it, Armageddon. Yeah, so now my wife has to leave to go give Jacob his dinner at his marching band. Safe. He is the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. And the reason that Jesus wins the battle is because he's the Lord and King of Kings. No other. And I love this description of Jesus.
Glass breaking.
Yep. Almost done. 3.
Glass breaking. Alright.
And these are verses.
Daddy, you're not going to disable the camera.
Okay.
And the angel said to me, the waters that you saw where the prostitute is seated are peoples and multitudes, nations and languages. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to carry out his purpose by being of one mind and handing over their royal power to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth.
Okay.
There you go.
Yep, there we go. And we will finish off. Okay. So, before we saw the prostitute that sits on many waters, and here it says the waters are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. Babylon, the idol religion, will be worldwide because there are rivers and seas and lakes and oceans across the whole world, and likewise as there are people. The question is, will it be required? Possibly. There's a point in there where they make everybody worship the Antichrist, just like they did with the statue that Nebuchadnezzar built with the fiery furnace. Do you remember what chapter that was?
Chapter 2.
No.
Oh.
No, the fiery furnace wasn't chapter 2.
Chapter
3.
3. And 10.
Paul. Yes, it wasn't Daniel. So 10 kings and the Antichrist will overthrow the world religion. It talks about how the first part of that last verse, it says the waters are peoples and multitudes. Next it says that the beast and the kings will burn her and they will hate her and they will throw her down. And what this is saying is what this is saying is that even though for half of the tribulation, this Mystery Babylon idol religion that's flashy and wealthy will control the government, at the halfway point of the tribulation, the Antichrist and his government will get rid of the religion. They're going to be like, you know what? You're putting too much constraints on us. We need to rule. And in chapter 12 of Revelation, it talks about Satan being thrown down out of heaven. And this is not a coincidence, because that happened at the midpoint of the tribulation. And the Antichrist overthrowing the religion happens at the midpoint of the tribulation. It's not a coincidence. And it's also at that point when everybody starts to worship the Antichrist. And it's also at that point when the Antichrist goes into the temple and he declares himself God. For God has put it into their hearts to carry out his purpose. Now, a lot of people have trouble with this verse because it shows that God has power over these kings, which allows them to do certain things. So you'll ask yourself, well, why is he allowing any of this to happen at all? And it's because there are people that sin in this world, and in order to be able to reach everybody, he has to go through with his plan. The people that could be saved, that see God's plan in action, will be saved. But this isn't the first time that God uses evil for his purpose. It happens all the time, but the best example is Pharaoh in the book of Exodus. It says that God hardens his heart so that he won't choose the right thing, so that all 10 plagues can be brought up against the Egyptian people. It's the same thing here. You know, God has control over these end-time kings. And that's all I had. No. Well, I guess we get to see. You want to see the Lego creature again?
Yep.
That's pretty funny. Huh?
Yeah.
Legos.
Yep.
And then we will go off with our ending song.
Yes. We will finish with another song by Robin Mark.
So both of the songs were by Robin.
Yes.
Okay. The stream was about 40 minutes. But the Lord is done in me. Oh, do you want to sing the song?
Well, he will.
No, I want to let Steve sing it.
I apologize for having my face. I don't have Richard to hit the button. Pretty-
Camera.
You know, you could have asked me to hit the button.
That's okay. I will. Oh, I don't know what happened to our camera.
LOL.
I hope we're still there.
I don't think it can see us.
I'm gonna do this one more time. I hope everybody can still hear us. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong.
Let's get a big hope.
Oh, there it is. It says that my camera's back on. I'm not quite sure. I suppose the internet is like that.
Like what happened before it
Let the weak say I'm strong, and let the poor say I'm rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me. Let the weak say I'm strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me. Hosanna, Hosanna, to the Lamb that was slain. Hosanna, Hosanna, Jesus died and rose again. Hosanna, Hosanna, to the Lamb that was slain. Hosanna, Hosanna, Jesus died and rose again. Into the river I will wade, where my sins are washed away. From the heavens mercy streams of the Savior's love for me. I will rise from water's deep into the shady arms of God. I will sing salvation songs. Jesus Christ has set me free. Hosanna, Hosanna, to the Lamb that was slain. Hosanna, Hosanna, Jesus died and rose again. Hosanna, Hosanna, say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me.
All right, and that's what we had for you this week. Thank you for joining us. I will, post later on. Put up links to the YouTube. Tomorrow I'll post this on Rumble. I wanted to say thank you for joining us this week. Think of my sister Donna as we have her funeral for her husband Dale tonight. Donna Akins and Dale's family specifically. Remember, next week we are having our church vacation. We will not have this next Monday, but we will be back Monday at 3:30. Thank you, everybody, again, and have a wonderful week.